If y'all thought that the Tory Lanez versus Megan Thee Stallion drama was over because Tory was found guilty and was sent to 10 years in prison, boy do I have some news for you. Tory and his legal team have been trying to appeal the guilty verdict for almost a year now, and it looks like they just struck gold because Tory's driver, who was in the car during the argument, just came forward to accuse Megan's friend Kelsey of allegedly being the Y'all, this case is about to blow up again because people are now dragging Megan for lying and trying to set Tory up, and it's a hot mess. So was Tory's dad right about how Jay-Z orchestrated this whole thing? And did Tory's original lawyer during the trial botch the case at first? Let's break this down. Tory Lanez is fighting for his life, and honestly, who can blame him? 10 years in prison is no joke, and he can kiss his career goodbye because y'all know that the industry isn't going to wait for him that long. From the very start, he has insisted that he had nothing to do with the hinting that Megan's former friend Kelsey Nicole was the shooter. The wild part about this is that Tory was never supposed to be at the party where the fight started. According to Kelsey's testimony during the original trial, Kylie Jenner had invited her, Megan, and Megan's stylist EJ to a party at her mansion. But Megan later invited Tory when they got to Kylie's house. Kelsey claimed that things started to go wrong when Megan got drunk and got obnoxious. Kelsey went on to claim that Tory then got flirty with Kylie, which was weird of him because he was already sleeping with Kelsey and Megan, even though Kelsey didn't know it at the time. Kelsey also claimed that Megan started to act out because she was drunk. Kelsey went on to say that she and Megan's stylist EJ tried to force Megan to leave, but that Megan didn't want to. She also claimed that the reason Megan didn't want to leave was that she didn't want to leave Tory and Kylie alone at the house because of how flirty they had been earlier, but they were finally able to convince her to leave without Tory. But on the way home, Megan had suddenly claimed that she had left a slipper at Kylie's house and made them turn back to get it. Megan went alone into the house to pick up her slipper, but what she saw when she got into the house got her so upset that she had gotten into an argument with Tory and Kylie, which led to Kylie kicking them out of her house. This led to a messy argument in the car, but it's hard to know what exactly went down because there are so many versions of this story. According to Tory, they got into an argument in the car and Kelsey found out that Megan was sleeping with Tory, even though she was the one who encouraged Kelsey to pursue an intimate relationship with Tory in the first place. Megan, on the other hand, claimed in an interview with Gayle King in 2022, she claimed that the reason for the argument was that she wanted to leave the party, but the rest didn't want to leave yet.
It was an argument because I was ready to go and everybody else wasn't ready to go. But that's like normal friend stuff. Like, we fuss about silly stuff all the time.
Well, the case eventually went to trial and it was a mess. For some reason, Tory's legal team chose to base their defense mostly on some allegations of Megan being an industry pass-around. And honestly, it didn't even seem like they were trying to win the case. An independent witness named Sean Kelly was called during the proceedings because he had seen the whole thing unfold from his balcony. In his testimony, he claimed that he witnessed a fight on the street between Megan, Tory, and Kelsey. He also claimed that Kelsey fired first because he saw the flash go off closer to her than Tory. He then said that Tory was also firing wildly everywhere. Sean Kelly was the only independent witness who saw the events unfold, so his testimony carried a lot of weight in the case. But while Sean Kelly was the only independent witness, he wasn't the only witness because there was one more person who knew what really happened, and that's Tory's driver, Jaquan Smith, who was in the car on the night of the We all thought that he was going to be called to give his testimony, but that never happened, which was weird. But Jaquan came out finally to tell the story, and from the looks of things, he believes that Kelsey might have been the In a new sworn affidavit, he laid out the events of the evening, saying, "As I began to drive, Miss Pete started to fight with Mr. Peterson. They were going back and forth. I remember Mr. Peterson saying to Miss Pete that he was going to tell Miss Harris what was going on. I do not remember what street we were on, but Miss Pete asked me to stop the vehicle. I did as she asked, and Miss Pete went to sit on a nearby bus stop. Mr. Peterson went out and spoke with Miss Pete. After about 2 minutes, they returned to the car and I began driving again." He continued, "Miss Pete started the argument again, and Miss Harris asked what was going on. Mr. Peterson told her that he and Miss Pete had been dating and intimate. Miss Harris was upset by this, as she and Mr. Peterson had been dating in the same manner. Prior to any relationship with Miss Pete and Miss Harris began fighting." He also said, "I pulled over to stop them. Miss Pete and Miss Harris both got out of the vehicle and continued to fight, both verbally and physically. I broke up this fight and was pulling Miss Pete toward the back of the car. I saw Miss Harris with a gun in her hand. Mr. Peterson ran from behind Miss Pete and myself toward Mr. Harris. Harris, Mr. Peterson and Ms. Harris began struggling as Mr. Peterson tried to unarm Ms. Harris. I was still pulling Miss Pete and did not see who the weapon. I was lucky I was not harmed, and in my opinion, Miss Pete was also fortunate. The whole incident happened so quickly within just a couple of minutes. So from Jaquan's account, Kelsey was the one who pulled a pew-pew on Megan during the argument, and Tory was trying to get it away from her, but it went off and Megan got hit in the process. If this is true, then it could mean that Kelsey was the shooter, not Tory. Jaquan also claimed that he had been willing to testify during the trial, but the prosecution refused to call him as a witness. He said, "I wanted to present this evidence during Mr. Peterson's trial, but was prevented from doing so as the district attorney was not ready to cross-examine me, and later they did not call me due to the holidays and the court schedule. I believe I should have been allowed to present this evidence at trial." This kind of made it seem like the DA and the prosecutors deliberately chose not to call him because they knew that his testimony would hurt their case. But newly exposed paperwork shows that Tory's defense team knew about Jaquan's testimony, but for some reason, they chose not to call him as a defendant. According to the documents, the record shows that defense counsel knew about the proffered testimony before deciding to rest the defense case. Fans are now wondering if his lawyers botched the case on purpose, and there's a conspiracy theory that Jay-Z could have something to do with it. There's an old footage where Tory claimed that he got threatened by someone from Roc Nation to keep his mouth shut and not say anything regarding the case.
I get a call from Roc Nation that says, "Yo, we heard you're gonna make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement."
After he was found guilty, his dad went on a rant outside the courthouse where he accused Jay-Z and Roc Nation of influencing the legal process, accusing Jay-Z of having a hand in Tory's guilty verdict.
You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes. Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
He also accused JT of allegedly buying off the independent witness, Sean Kelly, because Kelly started acting a type of way after he met with some people from Roc Nation.
The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Tarr and Alex Bart.
They met on Saturday before. They met on Saturday.
With our witness.
So yeah, this case is a hot mess, and fans are now split on this drama. While some people believe that Tory is innocent and was set up, others believe that Tory and his team are just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. Fans commented, "It's easy to believe he her, but what people won't do is their research. Tory Lanez had an offer off Roc Nation that he turned down because he openly admitted he'd never sell his soul. Not long after he was locked up for this rat, Jay-Z has blood on his hands. The driver was the only sober one there and has no motive to lie. Kelsey and Megan were fighting. Kelsey pulled a all Tory did was try to disarm her. The story Megan told was a complete lie. Tory never said dance B and her. It was the friend, free Tory Lanez. Those of us that follow the case been known this. Why would Kelsey ask for immunity and also change up her story last minute? Why did she initially blame Tory and then chose to plead the fifth? She knew that she had been a part in this just like Megan. An innocent man went to jail. And I just want y'all to remember that Meg did not file charges, the state did. Anywho, I want to know how y'all feel about this, so drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.